With movie music, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Music should be played to set an atmosphere, an emotional tone. That's what Knight's Tale did really well. Even though it was modern music in a medieval setting, it still worked. They chose the right music for the piece. Then you have Willow. Completely random, out of left field, doesn't fit. What on earth is happening is the main response. And Gladiator 2, where we chose it because we put Denzel Washington in the movie.
I was owned. Now I will control. And
this is the same logic behind making the current abomination of Assassin's Creed in Japan, where we did the same thing. Of course, the press, yeah, they're coming in with the same awful takes that you would expect of them. They even come out with, you could have disliked it as long as you disliked it for a reason I approve of, but not the one that actually makes sense. And I do find it funny that the website essentially going, well, Hollywood can do whatever it wants, and you should like it, you uncouth peasant. Also wrote an article about how Hollywood needs to give people a reason to leave their house, which most people would think meant actually good entertainment. Give the audience what they want, rather than what you think needs to be forced upon them. But of course, it's 2024, we can't have that, it's the current year. Gladiator 2 Trollers hurts trolls' feelings by using a song that doesn't fit and sets the wrong emotional tone. Because the interesting thing about this type of music as a whole is it's not just American music, it's niche American music. And so the more you take it out from that niche and branch it into a worldwide audience, the worse it's going to fit. There are some times where I think the music could fit, for instance, Saints Row 3 trailer. I love the Saints Row 3 trailer, and it fits with the music because they chose the music first and then designed the entire trailer around it.
I'm living in that 21st century.
All the shooting and the action scenes were set to the beat. And it nailed the tone and the emotion of the setting. It's not sword fights in Italy though, is it really? Instead, much like the reason for casting Denzel Washington in the role of a historical figure in the first place, it's not about whether it fits with the setting, it's simply about Hollywood 2024. And that pulls you out of the trailer, because now you're thinking that this really doesn't fit, rather than enjoying the trailer. When you're watching the military fight over a city, and then you suddenly went like, who's that? She wouldn't be there. Suddenly you're thinking about the details of the trailer, rather than getting involved and immersed in the world so you can feel the emotion of it. Music throughout all entertainment is emotional shorthand. It plays to you on a level that you don't really think about, and it can entirely change the meaning of a scene. You can play the same scene over again with two pieces of music, and it will literally change how you perceive that piece of footage. So to come out and say that people are trolls because they don't share your music tastes is farcical. Just because you like the song doesn't mean it fits in the film. And there are far more broad genres of music that would not only appeal to more people across the world, but they'd also fit better in this scenario. That's how the trailer ended up massively disliked. I got halfway through and turned it off. And it really is laughable, the idea, oh, the modern music suggests a fresh approach for the sequel. Why do you have a fresh approach to history? It's gonna be so fresh, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be like London in 2024.
The mob of revolting peasants.
There's not gonna be an Italian in sight. Are we embracing Russell T Davies' idea of this is the way history should have been if it was better? And I'll be honest with you, Screen Rant, when you say that the song worked quite well because it painted an exciting picture for a sword and sandal epic, I don't believe you. Nobody listens to that music and thinks swords and sandals. No, it shows that they're willing to take risks and change the formula of the original. Why would you ever change the formula of the original when you're making a sequel to it? You're making a sequel because the first movie people liked, so give the audience more of what they liked. Don't go, no, that was years ago, we know better now. We are far bigger list of checkboxes than we did back then. And the more ticks there are, the better the quality.
This carpet is a person with feelings.
No church, and I didn't even know that was what it was called, was much more daring. The thing about dares and risks is you can fail. No, this music was such a good choice because the sequel needed to distance itself from the original Gladiator. What are you even on about? People already think you're insane for making a second Gladiator to begin with. If you wanted to distance yourself from the first one, don't call it Gladiator.
This ring belonged to Maximus.
The reason you've called it Gladiator is because you want to get the audience who liked the first one over to your new movie, which won't deserve it, and it wouldn't have been able to get it on its own. So you're not trying to distance yourself at all. Well, you shouldn't be, but you are. Makes you an idiot, really, doesn't it, when you think about it? Don't expect modern music in the finished cut, so don't put it in the pissing trailer. Do you even know what a trailer is? A trailer is a condensed advertisement for the movie. It's supposed to represent the movie.
Run, and I will run with you.
I will not run!
Don't make a trailer that doesn't represent the end film, or you will either scare people off because they don't watch the trailer and they'll never find out, or they'll go find an entirely different movie and despise you for it.
This is about survival!
Ridley Scott has never been overly concerned with historical accuracy. This is the equivalent of putting a digital watch on his wrist. But the changes he's accepted in the past have been to increase immersion or drama, and this music sucks that away from it. You can't get immersed in an Italian historical movie when you've got some niche music from a continent that didn't even exist at the time playing. If you were going to use modern music, at least make modern music that sounds like it could have come from the culture you're actually watching. Ridley Scott would likely consider a modern rap song to be exactly the type of thing that would ruin the immersion of Gladiator 2. We've just written an entire article arguing for a point that we then admit is wrong. They're not sending their best, are they?
Because this is what they believe in. Power.
And you can just see the destructive impact that that song had on the movie when people go and they set different music to it. Just watch this bit.
General Acacius, there are victories yet still to come.
It's already better because you have the emotional shorthand of the music.
Head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
General will do.
Even cut out the entire army. No, that's too much. Like, we don't have the comedy element of, well, I assume it was comedy, otherwise I'm not really sure why it was in the movie.
This ring belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you.
It is just absolutely wild how much other people can make stuff, which is now better than Hollywood. How obvious the decisions are. And the only way they have to defend themselves is just by coming out and insulting people. Oh, you're just trolls, we don't need to listen to you. We do need to give you a reason to leave your house so that you'll give us money. But when they don't like it, you can just shut up and take it, can't you?
Sheer hubris.
It's been deeply irritating to see YouTube comments. I am deeply irritated to have to hear from the plebs. Their incessant criticisms of one small aspect of the trailer. They'll probably have no bearing on the final film, although it will have massive bearing on its profitability. If you think putting that in the trailer won't put people off the final film, then you definitely shouldn't be working in entertainment. If it focused on criticism of Kanye and his activities, well, that would have been fine. But saying that hip-hop doesn't actually belong in period pieces is crazy, despite the fact that it's from an entirely foreign culture to the period pieces, and as such sets an entirely foreign tone to them, as it's meant to represent a different culture and reality than what you're talking about. I gotta admit, it's just a really, really bad take. Or maybe a sign of taste. I mean, you decide. The perspective fundamentally misunderstands the function of music to a film. And you're like, hang on, you're about to say something entirely unself-aware, aren't you? I can tell. To support the aesthetic and mood the director wants to create.
Hands on the mausoleum floor, blood stains the Colosseum door.
Because this is what they believe in. Power.
Yes, and it's exactly because the aesthetic and mood that hip-hop creates doesn't fit with period pieces, which is the problem in the first place. I love how people can understand the problem and then still need to defend it anyway. Just because you like that genre of music, and so you're enjoying the music as it plays, doesn't mean it fits with a movie and the tone and the emotions of that movie. And he goes, well, limiting a movie's soundtrack to music that existed at the time, which no one has ever suggested. When people are talking like Hans Zimmer scores, Hans Zimmer didn't exist in gladiatorial Rome either. Makes music that fits in with the cultural aesthetic of Rome better than somebody that's singing about about guns and Diddy or whatever they are. As you can tell, I'm not a big hip-hop guy. I didn't actually know that was hip-hop, to be honest, until the gamer told me it was. If the filmmaker wants to cut through the distance a period setting creates, they might use modern music to make the viewer feel a greater connection to the characters in the story. Are you mentally retarded? Then have I got the music that can connect you to a Colosseum movie? If you don't like sword fighting in Rome, don't go and see the pissing movie. We shouldn't obliterate the movie just to make you try and like it. And I'm not sure that you really want to cut through the distance to an incredibly niche audience in America for a film that you want to sell around the world. It's not the best idea, as well as destroying any kind of emotion that you could possibly have ever built in that trailer. Embrace anachronisms, completely missing the point. It's about aesthetic and mood, but then we shift from actually realizing the problem to, it's just because it's not of the exact time. Music is a shortcut to mood. I can't believe how somebody can realize all of the problems, but not be able to put them into a cohesive conclusion. And modern music has to cross fewer contextual objects to get us there. Hans Zimmer is still alive. Hans Zimmer's music is modern music. It's not about how old the music is, it's about the style.
Head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
General will do.
And the emotions that it instills in people. Oh, this article is one of those, it drags you down to their level and then beats you with experience. The Gladiator 2 trailer is attempting to capture the excitement of gladiatorial battles by using hip-hop. Yeah, but why though? Isn't it a genre all about like guns and crime and stuff? Nothing about it has to do with Italy or swords. But on top of all of that, none of it even drums up the emotion that is required to be in a movie. It's not a comedy cop movie. The genre that dominates workout and pump up playlists, thanks to its hard-charging beats and percussive vocals. We're in a workout routine, you silly bins. The importance of a gladiatorial battle isn't that people are moving to lose weight. It's supposed to be about the emotion, about death. You're supposed to root for the heroes and hope the villains get what they have coming to them.
There are victories yet still to come.
You're not supposed to be pumped up. This is such a two-dimensional take. This particular hip-hop song ties specifically to a revolt against... What would any of these people know about revolting against royalty? Something that the people from this song have never done. The chorus questions the power of kings. You haven't chosen it for the lyrics. Why would you choose a song for the lyrics? You choose a song because of how it makes people feel. Oh, that's why. Yeah, it did say Colosseum doors. And that was all they needed. It said Colosseum in it, that's got to fit. Music isn't a chronological... No one said it was. You can dispute the trailer's effectiveness, but it's not an error. It's a strategy. It's a bad one. That's why I can dispute its effectiveness. They made a horrible decision due to incompetent people. Much like this article. I'm not being funny, love, but you've gone musical anachronism, anachronistic. Did you just discover this word yesterday and think it sounded cool? Because it's not even the problem with the piece of music, but it's what you've decided to think people are arguing about. Excessive fealty to historical Nobody wants a piece of music literally from Rome. That's why they keep talking about Hans Zimmer. How old do you think Hans Zimmer is? Makes for good textbooks, but not art. Yes, art requires a knowledge of humans, something that Hollywood no longer has. And I could understand why it would be incredibly difficult to work out how to inspire a certain emotion within the audience when you can't even feel them yourselves. At the studio level, Hollywood needs to give people a reason to get out of their house. At the studio level, Hollywood needs to stop cheapening the theatrical experience, like putting music into scenes which they don't belong to. Especially when it was reported that Gladiator 2's budget makes it one of the most expensive movies ever made, that Paramount Pictures are reportedly terribly vexed over how Ridley Scott's costliest production will ever turn a profit. The blockbuster's 49-day shoot had originally been budgeted at $165 million, before rising to a reported $310 million. And you think to get the money back on a $310 million movie, you can play an incredibly niche piece of music. Well done there, great idea, mate. That's a strategy, alright. A terrible one. And that's why when you have the edited trailer, proof that the alternative is better, and you have the comments of, well, this is better than the actual trailer, what a difference music makes, and this should be the real official trailer, it becomes even more stupid when, well, I mean, the press keep trying the same old things. It's not just trolls reviewing something, no, it's getting review bombed. How do you review bomb a trailer on YouTube? Nobody really knows. I mean, the downvotes were removed. And sure, you could see them with an add-on, but now are you going to try and tell me that a load of people review bombed a movie, despite the fact that they would have known nearly everybody couldn't see them doing it? Right. That's one wild theory you've got there, Hollywood.
All of the people were angry. Like,
Those people.
Various
People that we
awakening
need
of-
to educate.
I mean, it's not as if your movie couldn't have been a massive success. The trailer ranks around Paramount's most viewed. You had the opportunity to get all of these people into the cinema, and then they listened to it. You only get one chance at a first impression, and, well, this was yours. That's why it doesn't matter if you have things coming out and go, well, it just causes ridiculous debate. It doesn't matter if you think that their opinion is ridiculous. They're the ones with the money, they're the ones that you need, and you only have one job: to give them what they want. If they think it absolutely ruins the vibe, that is the word of God, and to you, it means you shouldn't have done it. You can't argue or shame them out of this position, because it's their opinion about their emotions when they watch this trailer, and that was the only thing you were trying to control with the music, and you failed. Mescal said that he will be profoundly depressed if the new film makes him more famous than he already is, so at least that's been avoided then. Maybe this music was done to save his mental health. The song in Gladiator 2 trailer took me completely out of the moment. Who chose that? It looks incredible. I can't imagine being one of those nerds upset about a song choice. I just saw metal waving and stuff at the screen, and that was enough for me. I can't imagine needing something on a deeper level to get interested in a movie. I just have low standards. Nerds. This isn't the insult you think it is. At least not aimed at the people you're intending. I have lower standards than you. But what were the 3 reasons that Hollywood Reporter thinks are an issue? Bearing in mind that their original title was Gladiator 2 trailer is getting review bombed for cringe rather than for 3 reasons. So, you know, article used to be more confrontational. 133,000 likes to 279,000 dislikes and counting. Very unusual for a major tentpole release, unless you're Disney. And the first reason is they think the trailer gives a lot away. I don't have a problem with that. Like I say, I think trailers should be a condensed version of the movie. A Knight's Tale also gives a lot away about the movie, but you don't care because the movie is the journey. The only real reason to worry about spoilers is if there's some kind of twist or mystery in a story, like Terminator 2's trailer. Now, the second reason, by far the most cited, is the music. Of course, it's hard to imagine such contemporary music being used during a film about ancient Rome's sequences. Of course, this is just a trailer, so perhaps those critics should chill out. Shut your mouth, get back in your box. No one cares about the opinion of the plebs. Don't you know, I'm a professional critic.
Look at the chubby little bastards. What are they? Pets for chairs?
Go and take a running jump. Also, don't you know that they say the words Colosseum doors? So there is that. This entire article seems to be set in the tone of, oh, you go, girl. It's like, what? Literally, the only rebuttal in this argument is, oh, it says Colosseum doors. And I know it's trash, but it won't be in the final movie, so shut up. The sooner we get to AI journalism, the better at this point. And then we get to their actual problem, the thing which has worked for them before, but they're too stupid to realize nobody cares about their opinion anymore. The music protest starts to look a little bit dog whistly when you get to the next bit. That's because they're the dog. If you can hear the ultrasonic whistle, you're the dog. Then they hear them everywhere, I tell you. So did Screen Rant, by the way. Unfortunately, some of the backlash to the trailer did have racial overtones. Not just aimed at the I swear everyone just learnt the word anachronism yesterday of the song that was chosen, but its genre. Some people have even criticized Washington's character and his accent. No!
You know I'm surgical with this bitch. How you want it, dog? Huh?
I mean, Denzel Washington is basically playing himself in Gladiator 2, which is why his character just sounds like a Los Angeles cop in Training Day. Did he do any work to make his accent sound Roman? Nope. And that is what Screen Rant has a problem with. The fact that Denzel Washington couldn't even be bothered to attempt to fit into the scene, and as such is another reason that just draws you out of it. And one thing may not be a problem on its own, especially if it's a good movie. But when you layer all of these problems up, it comes to a point where it's impossible to get immersed in something that you know doesn't fit. You can't choose all of these different things from different cultures and expect them to form a cohesive picture. Despite these disappointing complaints about him not fitting into the setting or his accent not even existing at the time this movie is set, there's reason to be optimistic for this sequel, despite the fact that all of these problems are essentially signs of lack of talent, or at least prioritizing something other than actual entertainment, actually making a homogeneous, cohesive setting. You have other values than making a good movie. You prioritize other things than making a good movie. I'm not sure that's a reason to be optimistic myself. In fact, I would argue that if the movie is good, it's good despite all of these obvious problems that shouldn't exist, rather than due to them. And that is the third reason for Hollywood Reporter. Washington's role in the film. Despite this being a historical piece, I'm placing him in the role of an actual human being that existed. But don't you know, the actor looks as if he's having an absolute blast, because it's his feelings about how much he enjoyed the movie that matters, rather than the product, and he is a great actor. No one's arguing about his acting talent. It's the fact that, should we really be putting a New York accent into a gladiatorial arena? But here is where it gets ugly. There's no need to talk about Washington like that, as you suspected it would, because we're writing this article and we're scum. Some of the comments have been discriminatory. And when you combine, oh yeah, we're not even going to show any of the comments. We're not going to say what they are. We're just going to say, you know, some of them exist. They do exist somewhere on the internet. That's all the argument I need to make. I have a feeling that the reason why they won't show them is probably because it was something along the lines of, do you know the makeup of Italy at the time? Or, we know what the guy looked like because he existed. I have a feeling that's why they won't show you these comments. And when you combine them with people complaining about a rap song, this is all a far too familiar toxic fandom wave. That's right, if you don't like rap, well, you're a bigot. And if you do like rap and think it doesn't belong in ancient Rome, you're still a bigot. It's bigots all the way down. For those wondering, they did exist in ancient Rome, which isn't the comment people have been making, and in positions of power, such as the famed Roman officer, Lucius Quietus. Do you notice that the person in power that they have listed here isn't actually the one from the movie that Washington is playing, because they know they swapped him, which is the point that was criticized. But because they're trying to slur the people criticizing the movie, they can't talk about the actual issue because they know they're correct. And so we have to dance around it and talk about comments that were never made to try and give you a full sense of what the actual problem is. But if that first impression, that trailer, is that you didn't like it and then there's a long wait, you just won't care when the next one comes out. It's not about being upset or angry. I turned the trailer off midway through, because if you can't even comprehend what makes a good Gladiator film to the point where you're setting that music to the scene, you're not good at making movies. You don't understand the basics at that point. And if you've proven to me you don't understand the basics, why would I ever give you my time? Let alone money. This also stars the Training Day director, which is lucky considering he's directing Denzel Washington, who seems to be playing the same character from that movie. And after spending all this time slurring the people that didn't like the trailer, it ends with every time Ridley Scott makes a movie, God flips a coin. And just from the trailer, it looks like he's set himself so many obstacles that he's going to have to overcome just to make something good that he's really made the job difficult for himself. And all so he can fit in with the modern day ideas of 2024 Hollywood, rather than just focusing on making a good movie that fits together in a cohesive cultural vision. And so, if I muted the trailer or watched the edited version, I think the movie looks as if it's got potential. It's just given the obvious misplaced priorities that you see from the trailer, I do have my doubts. And you definitely have a harder road to get there. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. More videos like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.